do it like this. Hello,
Losers.
everyone. Welcome to the Women on YouTube panel 2016. So before I start, I'll just say that immediately after this, there's going to be a Women on YouTube workshop in the Open Mic Dome, just through there. It's running from 4 to 5 p.m. and a lot of the things we'll be talking about today will be breaking out into smaller discussion groups as well. So if there's a conversation you want to continue, then do come along afterwards. But first, I'm going to allow my panelists to introduce themselves because I'm a little lazy and I think they can talk better about what they do. So if you can say your name and your channel and a little bit about the kinds of videos you make. I'm going to start with Melanie right on the end.
Hello, my name is Melanie Murphy and I'm Irish. I do lifestyle videos, so I started off just mainly doing like beauty and food, and I've kind of tried to branch out to cover a lot of my interests. So my channel is kind of a mishmash just of my personality. There you go.
I'm Adana. My channel is Adana David. I do YouTube videos with my husband. We talk about education, motivation, we spread positivity, and we do a bit of family vlogging. So it's everything, really.
My name is Scarlett Ondo, and that's the name of my channel as well. And I do health and fitness videos and workouts, healthy eating. Everyone loves it. Not really. But yeah, that's the kind of thing I do. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Hazel. Hi. My channel is called Chewing Sand. I do a couple of different series. One is called Time of the Month. It's like a monthly vlog / documentary. I have a series called Tipsy Talk, where I basically just get drunk and talk to people. It's a lot of fun. And I'm also a somewhat aspiring filmmaker / almost filmmaker. So I've done some horror and comedy, and I'm trying to like branch out into that.
Hi guys, I'm Rose, and this is my wife Rosie.
Hi.
And we create improvisational comedy videos on YouTube, and we've also got a gaming channel, and you've got a vlogging channel.
Yeah, and I've got a vlogging channel. I'm just on YouTube by association. I'm married into it.
Hi, I'm Em Ford, and I have a YouTube channel called My Pale Skin. So, so I do beauty and self-confidence. So I'm all about the fact that you don't need to wear makeup to be beautiful, but I'm going to show you how I like to wear it as well.
And my name's Rosianna Holz-Rojas. My channel is youtube.com/Rosianna, and I make a complete mishmash of videos about books and feminism and a few other things too. So I'm going to start with a really broad question, and anyone feel free to jump in here. But how do you feel about the way women are represented online right now, whether that's women you're watching or the kinds of videos you're making or the sort of interactions you see with the people in your comments?
The thing is, Rosianna, is it a question of how women are represented online, or is it how do women represent themselves online? Because if we're the creators making YouTube videos, blogs, whatever, we're putting ourselves out there, you know, that's how we choose to represent ourselves, surely. And then, I mean, how people choose to interpret that is up to them.
It's up to them.
Yeah. Vague response.
No, I think that's a really good response.
Good point.
I do,
Cheers,
because
babes.
like I'm a beauty YouTuber, but then I decided to start posting pictures of myself without makeup, showing my acne to everyone, and it's about how you want to perceive yourself, you know, how you want people to perceive you, and I just wanted people to know that I'm real and I have acne and I'm not perfect, you know. So,
I have acne too.
acne girl.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
I'd like to say, so most of my subscription box is women, so I feel like women are very well promoted, and I watch, you know, like filmmakers, comedy, beauty, like all sorts of the stuff that men do, like women are doing it on YouTube. It's just like a case of like following them and finding them. And I think women are doing great online right now. Like there's so many amazing channels run by women that are just as successful as guys. So yeah, I think we're doing great.
Do any of you think it's harder for women than for men? Or is it kind of the same and it's who rises to the top is sort of egalitarian?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, because when you get women, female YouTubers that are branching into things like comedy or gaming, they wouldn't get the same response as when a guy does it. But I suppose that's the beautiful thing about YouTube as well, because you're your own boss. You have the right to put out whatever content that you want to put out. I think YouTube is a platform that really highlights equality because you're not in a traditional work setting where you're competing with a guy. You're not going to a 9-to-5 job where you know that a man has a better chance at something than you do. You have the right to put out whatever content that you want to. So it is more difficult in the way that people still perceive it. I mean, YouTube is fairly new, but the good thing about YouTube is that we have the power to put out whatever content that we want to. So
I think actually I'm kind of enjoying being a woman in the industry at the moment. I think it's probably the best possible time in history for women, particularly in the film industry. And I know we all do different stuff, but I'm more than happy to be the token woman whenever I can. And I know that a lot of, in particular, trying to write and direct and trying to make films, and specifically because I do horror, which is already quite niche, when I say to people I'm a woman who directs horror films or wants to write and make horror films, I think studios are quite interested in that. And I think that I'm quite lucky in that there's, I guess whenever you're selling something, you have to find a niche. And there's only so many, you know, teenage girls in the world who want to look at pretty boys for that reason. I think there's an awful lot of girls as well who want someone to look up to and want a role model. And I have met easily 100 girls today who have said something about wanting to get into media or filmmaking or film studies because of me. And I think they needed that kind of push. And I know everybody on this panel is an inspiration for girls, so it's nice that we're kind of tapping into that market. I don't like to call it a market, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Rosie and I have just recently launched a gaming channel, and there has been a stark difference in the kind of comments that you get, especially because it's a genre that, you know, obviously there are girl gamers, it's great, but it's something that we've never really properly done before. And there are comments like, yo, you with the boobs, must be thinking about you. And it is a very kind of like different area for us. But I was going to mention women in comedy as well. You know, it's also difficult being a woman in comedy because I don't feel like you are necessarily taken as seriously as men doing it, which is a real shame. But I mean, we're lucky we have a great support system, don't we?
Yeah, but I totally agree. But I do feel like the world is getting better, and then therefore that's catching up on YouTube. Like we just had Ghostbusters out, all-female cast. Ooh. Like we've got Amy Schumer. So I feel like things are getting better. But yeah, I feel like maybe it's not the way we represent ourselves, it's the way people are perceiving us. But then I think you were saying how we can be our own boss and put out our own content. I'm wondering whether women are able to do more niche stuff. I mean, this is terrible. I don't watch many male YouTubers. I just don't. I watch Joe Sugg. I watch some, you know, it's just not what I search for, so I could be wrong, but what men are doing all these innovative, like, new creative stuff? I'm sure there's some, but I'm just saying, you know, are women pioneering the way? Just wondering.
Right, it's kind of like a space there which women have been almost really welcomed, like they've kind of dived into that space and said, control over what I do is really important to me, and also the flexibility of it, because there are a lot of women who don't have all of that free time that they, you know, would need to work on those projects because of all, like, you know, unpaid labor that they're doing elsewhere and other things that they're having to juggle too. So I think that's a really good point. But a lot of you have mentioned like this kind of shift in your confidence and in your perspective, and kind of you're trying something new, or like now you're approaching it a different way. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what led to that. Is it this broader conversation of, you know, like the all-female Ghostbusters? Is it an environment that is more receptive to celebrating women in film? Or is it part of something personal that you've kind of gone through as you've grown up online and maybe felt like a responsibility to your communities?
I mean,
yeah, for definitely like in health and fitness, I think it's a bit about me wanting to show something different, but also people wanting something different as well, because health and fitness has always been a really like male-dominated thing. Like it's always men that are like lifting and doing all of that, but recently it's really cool because a lot more females are getting into it, and I think that's kind of encouraged me to be that person, to be like, hey, you can go into the gym and you don't have to worry to go into the weight section. No one's gonna like look at you or beat you up, or I don't know what they do in the waist section. They don't worry. But I think it's both like society changing a little bit and being like, yeah, women can do this now, and like also a mixture of us as women being like, you know what, we're gonna break the barriers, we're gonna do this, and we don't care what anybody thinks. But it's still difficult, especially in health and fitness, because like a male can be really respected for his physique and be like, oh wow, look at your quads. But then with a girl, it's like, oh, look at her butt. Like they don't like appreciate that it's hard work. They just look at it as a sexual thing, basically, which is a bit annoying. But we're getting there slowly but surely. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that annoys me as a woman on YouTube, and that's that there seems to be the thing that women on YouTube have to be placed in a box. And, you know, I remember when I wanted to get into the film industry, and I worked as a runner for years, I bought lunches for years, and I was always told, you know, you have to choose. Do you want to be a smart girl that's pretty, or do you want to be a pretty girl that's smart? You know, why do you have to choose? Why can't you be really good at your job whilst having a Chanel bag, or wear lipstick whilst you're making a film? Why do you have to choose between which box you want to go in? Why can't you like everything? And that really annoys me, that you have to kind of decide, oh, I'm going to be a funny girl, so that means that I have to, you know, wear glasses and put my hair in a ponytail, for example. You know, why should we have to be defined by these boundaries? So
I noticed that,
a little
like,
rant.
Amen.
a lot of girls do have that issue of like, oh, I'm going to make YouTube videos. I should probably do beauty videos. And I even, when I started, like, I've lots of interests, but I felt like that would make sense, because that's all I really knew, that's all I watched. And then I started making videos and finding women doing all sorts of stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm not just going to do that anymore, because I do have other interests and I want to kind of include everything. But then people will kind of not take me seriously in other types of videos, oftentimes because I've done makeup videos, and they're like, well, you do makeup as well. And I'm like, why can I not like makeup as well? Like, it's ridiculous.
I get that quite a lot, because I'm a beauty YouTuber. It's like, oh, she's a beauty YouTuber.
Yeah,
and
don't talk to her.
Well, actually, I did get longlisted for a BAFTA award like a couple of years ago. I have done my, you know, time in the film industry. I have more than my lipstick.
Yeah.
But people don't do it, you know? They don't
That's
see
changing.
past it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of powerful female role models, and I mean, the thing that can give us the security or the confidence to do something like this is starting off on a platform like YouTube, for example, where you're not going in already thinking that you're in a competition with a man. You're in your bedroom with whatever background that you have, filming your video, putting up whatever content that you feel confident about, be it education, fitness, comedy, gaming, whatever you want to do. And the more women go into things like this, the more popular it's going to be. At the end of the day, the world is changed one person at a time. You just need to convince a few people, and then it becomes a trend, because that's the society that we live in today. So we should serve as inspirations to women who want to branch out into fields like that, to be more confident, to keep putting out content like that. And then eventually people will respect us for that. Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about success on YouTube and what success looks like for all of you kind of personally, whether it's something measured by numbers or not, and then also maybe after that, how the experience of a video being really successful can be different for women and men, and the kind of attention it attracts.
I feel like it might just be me, but if I feel like if a vlogger or a successful male YouTuber took their top off for a thumbnail, I think it would get loads of hits. I think it would do really great. I think if a girl did that, they'd get so much hate. They'd get judged. They'd be like, oh, you know, you're just doing it for views, whatever, whatever. And I think like there's a lot more. What am I looking for?
Like hypocrisy,
yeah.
and it's not fair.
And I just think thank you. And I just think why? Why is it like that? I see a lot of male YouTubers, you know, sort of like censoring out, you know, in the shower or something.
Yeah,
with a
they
thumbnail.
vlog. I watch male YouTubers who vlog naked. And
Yeah,
they're
but
out.
do you have any respect for them?
No, I don't have any respect for that.
Just like, imagine what would happen to women who did that.
I just feel like if we'd have done that, I feel like it would be a very different reception.
Well, if, like, going off on a slight tangent, but I watch loads of ASMR videos, which if you don't know what they are, they're like relaxing videos where people whisper to you. Yeah, oh, they're lovely.
They creep me out.
Like,
They're amazing.
It's the
Oh, I love
sound
it.
of the mouth.
Oh, I love
No.
Oh. Just make noises, please. And like, it's interesting what you're saying, because we were literally just saying, like, we've seen male vloggers vlogging like a daily vlog naked, and then they just censor themselves out. And then I watch ASMR, and Russell Brand randomly made this big YouTube video saying that all ASMR women on YouTube, it was like porn,
sexual,
and it was
yeah.
very sexualized, and that really annoyed me. And it's like, and he was like, yeah, it's so sexual. It's like, it gets me to sleep. Like, sex does the opposite. Like, if I wanted to watch something, if I wanted to watch something sexual, like, there are websites specifically for that. And so it's like, look at the women. Women literally just have to just be relaxing on YouTube, and they get called out as basically being the same as porn stars. Not that there's anything wrong in being a porn star, just that they aren't. They're just being a YouTuber. And then men can vlog naked, and it's such a double standard, and it's very frustrating. And yeah, it does affect the success on YouTube. And continuing on my slight tangent, recently at VidCon, people were talking about clickbait. And I think that these days it's very, very hard not to put a very catching thumbnail and title, because you're in so much competition with other people, you know. You have to make your video stand out. And I don't know where I'm going with this. I think men can clickbait more and no one cares.
Firstly, I want to get a link to those websites you mentioned earlier. But also, yeah, God, you said so many interesting things. Men who do the clickbaity thing. I saw a guy recently doing like a chapstick challenge, and him and another guy are about to kiss each other, and in the thumbnail he's like looking at the viewfinder to make sure that they both look good, and it's just like, it's such clickbait, and it was a sponsored video as well. I was like, oh, your audience are so young and impressionable, don't clickbait them. But I think I have very little respect for guys who are going to literally just take their top off to get views. I mean, I don't see how that's contributing to the world in any way. And look, maybe they're doing it and you click on the video and it's actually something really intelligent and fine, but often it's not. And I think either gender who do that, all of the genders who do that, I wouldn't have a huge amount of respect for. But getting back to what you meant about measuring success, I stopped measuring success in views or in subscribers a long time ago. I think you can get so bogged down. And when I embarked on this whole thing, it was to just try it out, to just see what it would be like. And you get so caught up so quickly in building subscribers, you're checking them every day, you're like disappointed when they don't go up enough, you set yourself targets, and if you don't hit them, you really get down on yourself. Like, it's very, very difficult. And I think there had to come a point when I realized that YouTube isn't going to be my career, and that's okay. There are some people whose entire career is about building as many subscribers as possible, get as many spawn deals in as possible, you know, make hay while the sun shines, and maybe retire off that, and that's totally cool. That's a business strategy. That's what they want to do. But I think a lot of people on this panel, you know, they have transferable skills and they want to do other stuff. There's people interested in film and fitness and lifestyle and education and whatever else, and they know that YouTube is a platform to kind of, it's a board to kind of jump off to the next thing. So yeah, I think for anyone who's doing YouTube, just be aware that you have to think long term about what it is that you actually want to get out of it. And if you need to use YouTube as a way to build a following and hone your craft and get better at what you do until the point that you can go on to do whatever that is, that's okay too, and don't let the numbers get you down.
I think success is very subjective. And a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves because you're setting unrealistic goals. I think that to measure success, you have to set yourself realistic goals and work hard to achieve it. And when you get there, pat yourself on the back and say, I've done well. Because a lot of the times when we start off on YouTube, you're comparing yourselves to creators that have been there for 6 years. In 6 years, if you did the same thing over and over again for 6 years, you would almost become an expert. So that's the same thing. For when you start off on YouTube, people just think success happens overnight. You put up a video and you want it to go viral. You expect to wake up to 30,000 subscribers. because you're comparing yourselves to people that you're watching. But these people have been there for years. I mean, you get the odd number of people who get a lot of subscribers because of networking. But on average, when you start off with anything in life in general, you have to take your time, set realistic goals, and work hard to achieving it. And that's the measure of success. You can't really measure success by how much brands pay you, how much subscribers that you have. It's about the goal that you set for yourself.
Yeah, like, so for me, like, I measure success on the feedback. So, like, if I make a certain video and whatever my goal is with that, like how I want it to make people feel, if the comments reflect what I was hoping them to feel from watching that video, then I'm like, yeah, I'm delighted with that video, even if it gets less views than a different one I put up. So I feel like someone with 2,000 subscribers can be successful if their goal is to have a certain impact, or even just to like make stuff that they're proud of and learn something while they're making that stuff. So yeah, it depends on what you define as success in the first place. It's not views, like that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I totally agree. And for me, success for me is kind of like one of those like bittersweet things, because when I was like maybe about 5-6 years ago, I must have applied for maybe 200 different TV and film jobs, and I got turned down for nearly every single one. Like, I didn't get interviews, I got turned down for so many. And then last year I made a film that went viral, and I had, just out of the blue, the BBC emailed me and called me in for a meeting and said, look, we kind of like your film, we like you, we just want to work with you. What do you want to do? Do you want to direct? Do you want to produce? What do you want to do? We just want to work for you. We just want to work with you. And that, to me, was success.
Yeah.
To go from 5-6 years of being turned down for everything to then getting given my own TV show on BBC. And
because you proved yourself.
Really,
you chose to prove yourself because you're allowed to make what you want to make. So you made something that you were so proud of, and people noticed. And I love that, like, women have that ability now. Like, we can do anything that we want, and like, you used that to like make your dream happen. So
and I think that's the thing. I think, don't define success by a number. Define it by your end goal, as the girls say. Have a goal. What do you want to do? And, you know, 6 years ago, I wanted to work for the BBC, and then they came to me. So that, I couldn't have more success than that, even if I wanted it, you know? So.
Yeah, but I think the emphasis is also setting realistic goals, you know, because just for the sake of this being women on YouTube, if I use YouTube for example, if you start off creating a YouTube channel and say, you know what, in 3 months, I want to get to 300,000 followers, I don't think that's realistic. You know what I mean? So the emphasis is always setting yourself just baby steps. When you get to the next step, that is success, then you set the goal for the highest step. That's a measure of success.
I agree. And I think for Rosie and I think the measure of our successes is really just how, because we're LGBT as well, I just feel like if we can positively affect,
represent LGBT.
If we can positively affect one person's life, because we've been through so many issues ourselves with this kind of thing, I just think that means so much to us, rather than being like, oh, well, that didn't go viral, that did go viral, look all the money I'm getting. Like, it's just so shallow. And it's you know.
I also think that we've been doing YouTube for a while now. And, you know, with numbers go up, numbers go down. Views, subscribers, they can be up, they can be down. You can have bad months. And I think that we do put ourselves under a lot of pressure. But I think, what would happen if we took the pressure away? Because I think Rose and I have got to a point where we're like, as long as we're really, really enjoying what we love and doing what we love, how is that a fail? How is that failing? Like, and how many people really love the job they do? Because we love it. Yeah. And we do get to hopefully positively affect people. And so I think that if it was ever, you know, it was putting a strain on our relationship because we vlog our relationship or whatever, it wasn't good for us anymore, then we'd end. And I think, so yeah, success is just really enjoying it. It didn't used to be all about numbers. Obviously, if you hit a target, great. But not in a horrible way, but I've took that pressure off myself now. Why do it? Like, I love my job. I'm going to love it while it lasts. If I stop loving it, end it. That's success to me.
You've got to start YouTube for the right reasons too. A lot of people want to be overnight YouTube famous now, and it's become like a thing. When Rosie and I started in 2012, I did it as a hobby. I did it as part of my university degree, and it just sort of stemmed from that. But yeah, you've got to start it for the right reasons and be successful in your own right for doing what you
That said,
want
and
to
I
do.
know we've talked this to death already, but I've just realised it's very easy for us to sit here with all our subscribers and all our spawn deals and all our views and go, you know what, I don't really care about the numbers. Of course we care about the numbers, and of course that's what got us to where we are, but I think it's exactly that. It's not expecting anything from it. Like, none of us expected that. We got into it as a hobby and it became this. And I remember about 2-3 years ago, I set myself the goal of, I want this to be my job one day. I want to be able to pay my rent and pay my bills and be waking up every day writing or directing or editing or, you know, making videos with friends or coming up with new ideas or basically just whatever it was that day doing this. And it wasn't too specific, but I knew this is what I wanted to do and headed in that direction. Now I've got myself to about 200,000 subscribers, but I think at the time people thought you had to be like Zoella level to even make a living off of it. And I can make a living off of it now because I'm doing other stuff outside of that as well. So I just wanted to say, I know a lot of you are probably standing there going, well, it's very easy for you. You're all doing this for a living. But it is hard work. And like, I name drop, I interviewed Margot Robbie last week, and she said something about how everyone's like, oh, it's such an overnight success for you. You've just come out of nowhere. Suddenly you're in The Wolf of Wall Street, and now you're in Suicide Squad. Like, you've just come out of nowhere. And she's like, well, no, I started 10 years ago. I have been acting for 10 years and grafting and trying and working really hard, and now I'm making it big. And you guys think I've come out of nowhere, but I haven't. I've worked really hard for this. So be aware that, yeah, it could be 10 years' time by the time this is your job, if that's what you want it to be. Yeah. But you have to go into it prepared for that amount of time and work, and doing a full-time job while you do this, and doing part-time jobs while you do this, and making sacrifices on holidays and whatever else while you do this until you get to the point that you want to be at.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, actually, success has something to do with numbers, because my channel, the way it is, it's kind of like I'm a personal trainer for anyone that comes on my channel. So for me, my goal is to make as many people as possible feel really good about themselves and feel really healthy. So yeah, if I like inspire like, I don't know, like 500 people to be really super duper healthy, that's going to be tons better than just one person, because that's my goal. My goal is to make as many people as possible happy. So I guess for me, success is slightly about numbers. It's not like even just making one person a little bit healthier is like amazing, but like the more people, the better. So I guess it depends what you kind of do. I think for me, slightly, the numbers do kind of matter, because it's just amazing to think that I am making a difference to a lot of people and their health and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. The only thing I have with numbers is, the thing about YouTube and success is, with the numbers, it's so public. And so therefore other people can look at numbers and go, oh, they're successful, they're small, they're not successful. And it's like, no, it's great to hit targets, it's great to reach as many people you can, especially with a positive message. But then I disregard the numbers as in, I don't want other people to look at me and have them decide how successful I am. I'm gonna hit my goals, make people feel good if that's possible, and that is how I define success. It's sad that it's so public, but I won't let anyone else define my success.
Yeah, and whilst I agree with you, I also disagree, because we're also trying to hit kind of like a mainstream, because I feel like LGBT maybe needs to be sort of like more recognized to create kind of like change. So I kind of do appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And you do too.
I'm just saying a different angle, but I agree.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, it's definitely like, for me, it's like the number that's good for me. I'm not gonna, if someone else is like, oh, you only have that many people that are healthy, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's amazing, get out. Yeah. So I think it's just up to you what you feel is good. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So on the point of people who are looking to start making videos on YouTube, when I asked on Twitter for questions about women on YouTube, something that came up time and time again was kind of, how do I not let worries about my appearance affect my wanting to make a video? And then the other side of that, how do I not get discouraged when I get a bad comment? And for some reason, that's something that has been very gendered in the response, and I wonder why that is, and if anyone wants to talk about that.
It's tough. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, if you get a negative comment that is about your physical appearance or anything like that, it does hurt, doesn't it? Everyone knows that it hurts, but I think over the time you do develop a thicker skin and you think, you know what, it's very easy for you to sit behind your computer and pass judgment on me when I'm putting myself out there trying to do something that is good. So, yeah, I'd say over the years we have developed a slightly thicker skin, right?
I literally forgot my skin. I had such a good point.
Feel free to chip in, guys.
I agree. I mean, like, if there's a negative comment you can think of, it's probably been left on a picture of my face at one point in the past 2 years. And, you know, the thing is, people will judge you. Regardless of who you are, what you look like, people will judge you. The point is you have to know that you are happy with yourself. And it's the moment that you accept yourself first, and that's what will change it for you. Because I knew that my acne was bad, and I knew what people would say about it, but I didn't stop posting pictures of myself without makeup, because I knew for every 1,000 comments that would call me ugly or disgusting or gross or whatever, I knew that there could be 1, 2, or 3 other comments from another girl or guy who was going through the same thing, that their friends bullied them about it, or they got teased about their skin, but seeing somebody else openly talk about it made themselves feel better. And I think that's the most important thing, is try not to let other people get to you too much. If you accept yourself, it might hurt in the beginning, but then you will move past it. And now if someone wants to leave a negative comment on any of my pictures, I literally look at it and go, haha, they call me ugly, delete.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't bother me now. You have to kind of go through it to get through the other side.
Yeah,
but
true.
Try not to take it personally, because 90% of the time it is not about you. And it sounds
Projection of
ridiculous.
them.
It is a projection of what someone is going through.
If you're a happy person, I'm happy. I never leave nasty comments on anyone's stuff, and I never have.
You got better things to do with your life.
It is a projection of them. And I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say, you can't please everyone. So you could be you and look a certain way on YouTube, right? Or wherever, on your blog or on Instagram or wherever. And people might criticize you. And then say you went and changed yourself because you felt so bad about yourself, so you tried to make a change. Still won't please everyone. Like, someone will still have something negative to say. So what are you going to do? Keep on changing yourself? It's not going to work. There's always going to be someone who projects and has a problem with it. I've experienced it. Like, I went vegan and lost a bit of weight, and people used to make comments that I was overweight before. Lost weight, now I'm too thin. You cannot please everybody, so just be you.
I think if you're... So true. I think if you are super, super insecure and sensitive and really dealing with low self-esteem, maybe not the best thing for you to do. Like, being completely honest, if you're, you know, you're young and you're still trying to find yourself and figure yourself out and you're growing into yourself and you haven't got that confidence yet, I've heard a lot of people say they got onto YouTube and it helped with their confidence. It really helped with mine. But I was a 27-year-old woman when I started YouTube. I'd done university, I'd done relationships, I'd had a career at Google. I was like, you know, I had learned a lot of lessons already in life and had kind of found my feet by the time I started. I cannot imagine a 14 or 15-year-old me doing this way back when. I actually think it would have destroyed me. I don't think I would have been able for it then. So my advice would be, whatever it is that you want to do, I think learn and practice and, you know, go to school and go to uni and make friends in whatever industry you want to be in and work with them and make stuff. You know, if you really think that you're going to be completely crippled by people being horrible to you online, maybe hold off for a little bit until you can find yourself and build your own confidence. The other thing I would say is when you do this and people leave those horrible, hateful comments, and they will, and the ones that get to me most actually are about the fact that I'm a woman. I can't fucking stand it when it's some comment about like, well, what would you know? You're a woman. Brilliant. Really insightful. Firstly, I tend to reply to them and be like, thanks. Secondly, allow it to become anger inside of you and to build to a festering, horrible thing that helps you to grow. And I say that genuinely. Like, don't let it be sadness. Don't let it stop you and make you cry. And if you do stop and have a cry about it, that's fine. But after you're done with that cry, you get back on the computer, you pick the camera back up, you get angry about it and you say, I'm going to show them. I am not going to let that person tell me what I can or can't be. And use the anger. I sound like a Sith Lord right now. Use the anger to like drive you forward. I have done that so many times, and every time I reach one of my little success goals or anytime I achieve something, I look back, yes, at the people who've helped me, but also at the people who've tried to keep me down, and I think, F you, people who tried to keep me down. I'm doing really bloody well, and I hope that you can see this. Use it.
I agree. Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth. I agree with everything you said, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely. I think in some ways negativity is actually really good for you. It sounds really bad, but when I was younger, I was obese, and then I got bullied. And if it wasn't for those bullies, if it wasn't the fact that I was crying every day and I was upset all the time, I probably wouldn't have felt as motivated to do something about it. And then that negativity like gave me so much motivation. Like every time I was running, I'd be thinking about them. I was like, every time I'd be lifting a weight, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get so strong, I'm gonna punch you. I'm not violent, but I thought about it, and it really helped me through my workouts. So I think negativity does really help you in some ways, because it's like, it just powers you through. Anytime someone's like, oh my gosh, like your thighs are so big, and then I'm like, okay, I go work out, and I'm like, my thighs are really strong, I could probably crush your head in between my thighs.
Like a grape.
So it's just using that negativity to kind of push you forward, because it is actually really useful, because I think if everyone's always been nice to you, like, yeah, you're amazing, you're great, I don't think that really helps to build you as much. I think some people being a little bit mean is a little bit good. Not
it's
great,
not okay. It's not okay. Don't hate on people.
Yeah,
Obviously, don't think like I'm helping them.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
ugly, lol.
Yeah, no.
But, that's not what I mean.
Yeah. But if you are getting that negativity, don't like take it in a negative way.
Yeah,
Do something positive.
yeah, don't take it personally. There's like, and every single time, somebody told me this a long time ago, imagine they're a 10-year-old. Every time I see a comment like that and I'm about to reply and get really angry, I'm like, that could be a 10-year-old kid, and they haven't got a clue what they're doing, and just let it wash over you. It doesn't matter.
I think you've covered the whole point. So the important thing is that negativity can make you grow. But like Hazel said, if you don't have the right confidence to begin with, it's probably not the best time for you to start, because you cannot get people to appreciate you. You cannot get people to see your worth if you don't feel that way about yourself. And especially, I made a video on the truth about social media, where, of course, just as a YouTuber, when you want to record a video, you want to look pretty, you want the background to look decent. But then when you're out there watching us, you think that I didn't wake up like this. It took me hours to look like this. But then you're watching, when you don't have a lot of confidence, you just bring yourself down. You think everyone is successful. You think everyone's pretty. Going on YouTube is really not the best thing for you. Just take your time, build your confidence, appreciate yourself, realize your worth, come online and use the negativity to grow. And when it gets too much, the good thing about social media platforms, you have the authority to control the trolls on your channel. Delete and block. Not just deleting, because some people would always come back. Block. And it takes an effort and a half to create another account to stalk someone. Like, you must have a lot of energy to do that. So just delete and block and move on. Use the negativity to grow, and yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
I think it's really good advice. I think also a lot of people don't know about the whitelist tool, which I just want to mention quickly, which is where you can enter words that automatically get flagged for review as comments. So sometimes it can be a little bit draining if you make a video that for whatever reason has attracted a lot of negative comments. And if you just pull out some of the words that are repeated in that, they automatically get flagged for review. So when you open up your comments list, it's not just like looking through all of these comments that are making you really sad. The other side of it is feel free to just close your computer and walk away and make a cup of tea. Like, it's important to know that you do not have to punish yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, I don't know whether it's particularly a woman thing, but I personally experience it particularly as a woman thing, that you're kind of looking to set yourself up for failure and kind of beating yourself up about stuff sometimes. And I think it's really important to know that you can step away from it, and that is not in any way a cowardly thing to do. It's actually like an act of bravery to look after yourself, I think. One thing I want to say was that, you know, we're all up here with microphones. How about the women whose voices aren't maybe getting the platform they want? How can we boost women from other countries, women in other communities, whether that's women of color, LGBTQ women of color who are LGBTQ women in other countries? What are ways that we can use our platforms to boost other people?
Support them. Support them. I'd say maybe in your related channels, you know, you could just give them some exposure. Talk about them more, honestly. If you talk about something constantly, then the message, it gets heard.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to speak up. At the end of the day, you just got to speak up. And I think that's the only way things can change, people can get seen.
Yeah. I think it's by uploading content, I mean, that's relevant to that topic. For example, LGBT or in my case specifically, I'm in an interracial marriage where my husband's German, I'm Nigerian. Of course, the negativity that we get sometimes is from either white people thinking, why are you with a black woman, or black people thinking, why are you with a white man? But then the positivity that we continue to share on our channel has obviously changed a lot of people's minds. They know that there is beauty in diversity. There is beauty when people of different cultural backgrounds come together. We're human beings, we're one at the end of the day. I'm coming from, I mean, I do have a lot of women of African origin that watch me on YouTube, and we come from the same cultural backgrounds where our parents' generation, for example, wouldn't want us to marry outside our race, if you think about it. But I do see a lot, I mean, I meet a few of these young girls and they come up to me saying, oh my God, my mom watches you. And that's a big deal because their mom watching me is obviously creating this open-mindedness that, listen, oh, that could be my daughter in an interracial marriage that's working out. So by putting out content that shows a positive light, obviously helps people without a voice, because they're young girls who are in love with people from a different race, from a different gender, and they don't have the backbone, they don't have the support from their family. But when they watch people like us putting content, whether it's LGBT or interracial or anything, any stereotype, we help to break that stereotype.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's something so funny. Rosie and I weren't actually going to put our wedding video online because we were just going to have that as like a private video, and then we decided to, and I'm so happy because the most we've got from that is people that we meet at events like this, and they say, my mum or my dad watched that, and now they can see that, you know, two women can have a lovely wedding, and it's that kind of like tolerance and that acceptability. It's just great.
It's literally because like I started talking about LGBT stuff last year, and it's you guys, like I've even shown my dad, because I didn't grow up with women role models like who were lesbian or together in like lesbian couples, or so my dad was always like, yeah, but if you're with this girl, like I can't sit at a dinner table with you and your girlfriend. And I'd be like, well, Dad, just look at, like, it broke it down for him, and it's made him so much more accepting of it, and he now loves when I talk about that, because he's seen how much more confident I've become in myself and in my own personal life to just live the life that I want to live. And then some people will judge because they're like, why do you have to talk about that though? Like, are you doing that for attention and stuff? You feel a responsibility to do it, because I'm confident enough to talk about that. A lot of people aren't. And I feel like because I have people watching me who are also bisexual and who also have that kind of the erasure surrounding that it's like it doesn't exist, you're one or the other. So I feel like when I touch on it, the feedback I get in private messages, it blows my mind. So I think there's definitely a responsibility for people from any minority to try and just normalize it completely. And it makes me so happy. Like your channel, like, makes me so happy. And you know, Bria and Chrissy, and like I've all these like shown my family. They're just like, they get it now, and they didn't before. So I just think it's so important.
Thank you, Melanie.
You're all right.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. It really does. It's interesting, actually, because I think if you are a person who is in an interracial relationship or in the LGBT community or whatever, any kind of minority that needs support, you've just got to keep being you. And it's like what I said about you won't please people, you can't please everybody. Because I just did a video on my channel called Why We Stop Kissing. So Rose and I are married, been together 5 years, and thank you. And we used to, you know, kiss on YouTube, just like a straight couple would. And then, like we were talking earlier about, it's a bit of double standards. Some people would feel that we were like clickbaiting by kissing, and find it very sexualized. And it's like, well, if I was with a guy, like there are loads of family vloggers who kiss, you know, there's nothing weird about that. And we stopped kissing for a while because it must have, you know, it affected us a little bit, didn't it?
I was worried that that was what was driving views, and that's not what I wanted.
Right.
So,
We didn't want sexually driven views. We wanted people to enjoy our relationship and relate and be supported.
But then we realised that wasn't fair on our LGBT audience, because if we're going to normalise something, then we have to be normal. So we have to just continue the same, and then so we had a bit of
So now we kiss again, and yay! Thank you. And it's when we want, you know, not kissing for views, but we're not kissing because you know, we just if we want to have a kiss, we have a kiss. And I think it's so important to be yourself, because I have people come up to me saying, you know, you've helped me be myself, and I watch other YouTubers being themselves, and I am positively affected by that, and I feel that I can be myself more because of people just being them. So everybody's helping everybody. It's so refreshing to see a woman on YouTube or whoever just being them. So keep doing it. Don't change. If someone hates it, you're not going to please everyone. Just keep going, because you don't know how positively you affect people just by being you.
Exactly.
And so I think this is pretty much the last question to wrap it up. But another one that I got a lot of response on Twitter was, what can the audience, the community do to support women on YouTube? And is that something that they should be thinking about, with kind of intentionally and seeking out to do?
Yes, could you not be assholes, please? Like, literally, that's all you have to... It's not difficult. It's like, just don't leave comments saying horrible thing about women. It's not even something you have to do. It's just don't do it. If anything, it's probably easier. It'll probably save you time not leaving the comment. I just can't get my head around why it's like such a big deal for people. But yeah, I think, no, joking aside, like for everyone in this room who obviously doesn't leave horrible, hateful comments on people's channels, I'm sure, the biggest thing that you can do is just keep propagating the notion that it is normal and it's okay and women are the same, and I can't believe I have to say that in 2016, but keep doing that. And something that I really, really love, because I have this lovely little community, and I'd say in my demographic is about 90% women, when I see hateful comments on my videos, or I get a stupid tweet from someone, and generally I tend to retweet the horrible people just so they get loads of hate, there's kind of two sides to it, because on one hand, I don't really want them to get attention. A lot of the time, they are just trolling, and they are just looking for attention. That said, you can tell the comments sometimes from people who aren't trying to be intentionally hateful. They just genuinely don't get it. Like, when I did the video on Suicide Squad last week, I got a guy leaving a comment, because it was picked up by loads of like comic websites and NME and those kinds of things, so it brought in like a new audience of people who didn't know me. And one guy left a comment, and he was saying, like, genuinely just wondering, what are this girl's qualifications? Because she's talking about how Margot Robbie really depicted the character of Harley Quinn very well, but what does she know about that character? Is she just saying that because she's an interviewer, or does she get it? And I replied to him saying, actually, I sort of grew up on Batman, the series, the animated series, the films, and I love comics and I love superheroes. I did my college thesis on superheroes, and it's a huge honor for me to have met her and got to talk about that. And he was like, cool, like sometimes it's just educating someone that, and it shouldn't be the case that he doesn't understand why a woman would like comics or superheroes, but sometimes it is just a case of doing that. And sometimes I'll come across those comments and people will have already replied. Not in a hateful way, not spurring an argument, just having a healthy debate or a healthy discussion where they say, actually, I'm a woman and this. So I think as commenters, you know, if you're not afraid of kind of getting into a discussion, sometimes it's really nice to just jump on board and maybe educate somebody, that's all.
I think a lot of girls tear each other down on the internet, and that we were talking about that earlier. So when, you know, you see a lot of beautiful women just like posting a selfie or something, and all the comments tearing apart every feature on her face, I feel like that's so detrimental to what we're trying to do. And I feel like something I try and do all the time is just give people compliments all the time. Everyone I know. And I don't like being like, go and be nice to women. Like, just be nice to people and be nice to the people that you watch. Like, and don't treat women differently than the men you watch. Yeah. We want to be considered equal and not all the comments to be about our appearance. You know what I mean? Like, we've got personalities as well, and just because we want to try and look nice in the video so people don't leave comments going, oh, the spot on her chin is so gross, like all the comments. So yeah, just like, don't be one of those people who contributes to a chain of mean shite on a picture.
Yeah, also I was going to say...
Oh, stop it.
You.
I was going to say, it's also like that. I can't remember, it was an advert that was saying like girls are more likely to get comments like, oh, you look really pretty, or, you know, oh, you look nice, like about their appearance, rather than what they're actually doing in the video and what they're actually trying to get across. And
yeah,
I
if
think
you do a really serious video and all the comments are like, oh, you're so pretty. Yeah, and you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
What lipstick are you wearing?
Yeah, it's quite annoying. Like, I mean, it's great. Like, not saying don't do that. Like, that's really lovely. But I think sometimes you have to think about the comments that you're putting. Like, a guy is more likely to get a comment to be like, wow, that's amazing. Like, you knew all that stuff. Like, say in fitness, like, a guy is more likely to get comments saying, thanks for teaching me something new, thanks, I didn't know how to do that, or thank you for that information. But a girl is more likely to get comments like, oh, like, say for example, like, going back to what you were saying, like, ages ago, I never said it, I was meant to say it at the beginning, but I didn't. But say, like, a guy can be a guy in fitness can be topless in a video just to show his progress, because sometimes it's inspiring to see that. And then people leave comments like, wow, you look amazing, like, you're really shredded, like, well done, you've been working really hard. And then, like, say, if I'm going to be in a bikini, like, everyone's like, wow, really? You're in a bikini? Okay. So it's kind of that annoying thing that, like, girls are like, they can't do the same thing guys do because they just get judged. So I think it's just about thinking about your comments and being like, okay, it's being equal about the way you would treat everyone, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's the solidarity, it's the support from women, from creators, from viewers. We need to give each other support. I know you said you don't want to go ahead and say treat women differently, but when we're in a society where the odds are almost always against you for just being a woman, I think we should outrightly say support your fellow women, like by leaving comments, by, you know, just show support in any way you can, because so that you can be taken more seriously.
I definitely agree. And I think the thing is, like you said, like, women get a hard enough time anyway. So the last thing you want is for people to be at each other's throats online. And the thing is, everyone has their own personality, their own opinions, and not everyone will like each other. You know, that's okay. You know, you don't have to mindlessly like someone because they're a woman. You just don't have to be about it, you know? Yeah. So, you know, don't just, you know, it's like, I'm not just going to go, oh, Mary West is a woman, I'm going to support her. No. You know, but just don't, there's no need to tear other people down, you know? You can have a differentiating opinion, that's absolutely fine. Just think to yourself, do you have to leave your own opinion in a comment online? Probably not, you know.
No, but constructive criticism is different from negativity.
Yeah, definitely.
I was saying, if I made a video and someone said to me, okay, the lighting was really bad, the audio could have been louder, that's constructive. I will try to improve it. But if you left a comment like, this video is absolute shit, and I know how long it took me to work on that, that's negativity. So you can put across the same point in two different ways, and it's absolutely important the way that you come across online. People have this idea that the internet is free. There's the freedom of speech. So you have the right to live whatever you please on people's pages.
That's like running up to someone in real life and screaming insults in their face.
Exactly.
You don't do that.
No, I personally don't.
I have to wrap it up, I'm afraid.
Before you do really quickly, because I feel like we've ended on a negative note, I think everyone who came here to watch a Women on YouTube panel, we're preaching to the wrong audience.
Yeah,
I think. You guys are probably the exact ones who are supporting us and are leaving lovely comments and are telling off the trolls. So Thank you for doing that,
Yes.
guys.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.